Well. What's going on, my people? It is another great Tuesday evening where we're going to be talking about a lot of great topics. And we just had some breaking news about the Dallas Cowboys and Jalen Smith. So we are going to um, probably dive into that pretty quickly. All right. So I was actually going through Twitter just to try to get the scoop here in the last 5 minutes just to see what was happening, what was being said and things of that nature. But I came across something else first. It has nothing to do with football necessarily, um, but I feel like someone may need it or may be feeling something. And so I'm going to read this. It actually came from a post by Penny Moore. If you guys don't know Penny Moore is Malachi Moore's mother, number 13 for the Crimson Tide. And she posted this a little earlier today. It actually says, in life, we will come across people who judge parts of us and misunderstand why we do what we do. To be blunt, we can be too much for some people, and that's okay. People who feel that way aren't our people. Be uniquely you. That's how you change the world. That is a good word for me, too. Well, right? Because in this day and age, we're dealing with a lot of different things. The politics are off the spectrum. Always a healthy battle now seems like on what sports really is and what does it mean, right? Everything's coming where we're having to take a stance between each other, not really pulling each other, and so sometimes we're judged not fairly, and people don't really want to understand the whole you or the whole us, right? So I'm encouraging you to understand that you're a special individual, no matter what you're dealing with, what you're going through. If it's at work, if it's with your family, a loved one, or something, you really got the opportunity to make yourself shine by just being you. Don't try to be something for everybody because it won't work, and you can't make yourself happy, and you can't make other people happy. So I'm saying thank you to Penny for that. You can find her on Twitter at AKA underscore PMOE. She is a good follow, of course, especially if you love Alabama football. Um, and if you're a teacher, because that's what she is as well. So I thank her for that. Now, I do want to move into uh, the main part of the show. Um, I want to go ahead and bring JT in. Right now, JT is, my counterpart. I want to call him a little bit of everything, but he's my friend. He's my son. He's my advisor. Uh, he hadn't become a chef yet. I'm trying to get him to become a chef a little bit too, because he bought a new barbecue grill over there, and he's
And it's
failed to
pretty
invite me over
sweet.
to his house. Well, I sure would like to have the opportunity to be able to try something off of that, and I could. I don't even have to be involved in it. I can just sit out in the little chairs that you got out there. You got your little fire pit over there. It's getting a little bit cooler at night
Hmm.
now, so I could grab me a cigar, not have a cigar. You put a TV out there, out back yet,
No, there's no
up
TV
on the
out there
wall?
yet. We're
Okay, maybe
we're
I'll
we're
have to.
working on it.
Maybe I'll have to gift you a TV. I'm not going to buy all the cables and all the rest of the stuff for you to do it, but maybe I'll gift you a TV and you can put that out there. Why are you looking at that?
Because
And
Facebook
can't nobody see
finally.
you.
I've been off topic, but that's what we do on this show.
Yeah.
Facebook has finally allowed me to pop out the comments from the dashboard, which means
What?
yeah, I've been complaining about this for months, and
Yes, that's true.
and they did it.
So for
I
those of y'all
guess
who,
Mark Zuckerberg heard me.
yeah, well, you got a lot of pull. Your last name is Teague, by the way. So I know you've been trying, but yeah, JT uh, has been working very hard with this and getting that. It's kind of funny to me and why I'm looking at him, right? So if you listen to this post show while this is being recorded, you can't see, you couldn't see his facial expression on how I'm actually looking at him right now, and I really thought that something happened. I don't know over the house, but he just kind of lit up a little bit, and I didn't know if it was good or bad or if something was going on. But um, I'm glad we were able to figure out that piece. And so make sure you guys are getting involved in the chat. It's always great to listen to the live show because we do allow people to come in and we try to acknowledge as many people as we can. Sometimes we get really good comments, sometimes we don't. Doesn't matter. We accept them all as long as you're not being rude and not saying anything too nasty.
As always, Greg Young is here calling me the smart Teague. So,
how do you know he called you the smart Teague?
Because I can see. Well, yeah, it's not showing on the stream, but it's because Facebook keeps changing stuff on me every time we log in. There's something new. I'll figure it out, but I can see it.
Well, it's okay. I will give you that you are the smart one. You're the analytical one. I'm probably more. I don't know. Do you think I'm more logical than you, or just? I don't know. I'm simpler. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the. I like the technical, very complicated things.
And I'm not. And I think that's why we're different. I think that's why we're great co-hosts with each other because we're able to view things differently. We might be trying to get to the same point, but you may say it a little bit different than me and arrive at it a little bit differently. And of course, you're going to talk differently to me because when you talked about that, I already forgot the term when you went through the. So I'm gonna get to Jalen in a minute, but I have to tell you this about JT since we brought this up, right? So watching the football games on Saturday, and you guys know JT very well. So JT texts me and says, "Hey, we're doing some research and came across this one site where they run analytics of games, and this one source said that Kentucky is going to beat Florida." And I'm really interested in seeing how that turned out. So, of course, I don't know if he's on dark web or where he's getting the stuff is, but it's somewhere out there that he's finding these places. And so, lo and behold, Kentucky won the game. And now we're all kind of wondering, like, okay, who's this guy, lady, this source? And anyway, I'm saying all that to say that, man, although we may be different, kind of like the little thing that I was reading, we all bring a different piece to this. So I'm thankful that I'm able to do this with JT. All right, so let's go into it, man. Jalen, man, this is like hot off the press. This was what, 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, I got the text message at 7:46. I got the text message from one Mark Mejia about Jalen Smith being released. And at first I didn't believe it because I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm getting the text message before ESPN or Bleacher Report or The Athletic, all these sports app I got on my phone. And usually, you'd get some kind of alert. And actually, I still hadn't got it. Oh, yes, I did. I got an alert from The Athletic 4 minutes ago. So one of my friends had informed me pretty quickly. And I just had to do a quick search online to see if there was any validity to that, and found a couple articles about about the Cowboys trying to trade him to Philly, and Philly wasn't into that, so they cut him.
Yeah, well, shout out to Marcus Mejia for getting that information to you, the breaking news to you before everyone else. Pretty cool by him. So what do we think really, and I know it's all speculation at this point in time, but if he's, I'm really, because I'm baffled at the timing of it now, other than, he wasn't, obviously he can't be hurt, I guess. If he's a good viable backup still, I think we've already determined that he's going to get paid. Right? The Cowboys are still going to get hit with a very large number. So are we ready to kind of dive in and speculate on why this actually might have happened?
No. The only real thoughts that I have on this, because I had talked to Nick the Guru Granado about this a long time ago, last year when I said that he wasn't playing very well, um, and I want to say this was a contract year for him. I know Marcus is in the chat because he's asking us about our thoughts on Jalen being cut. So I'm pretty sure Marcus probably knows off the top of his head whether this is a contract year, and I'll just wait for him to tell me instead of looking it up myself. Um,
That's Marcus Jones. Marcus
yes,
D. Jones.
Mr. Marcus D. Jones. Um,
Ah, man, I wish we could get him in here. I know
well,
that'd
I
mess up
mean,
everything, but
mm, hey, we're unrehearsed here. We can.
this is Teague's take. Let's do it, man. Is there any way? So, is there any way you can have a private chat with? Well, maybe we should ask Marcus if he even wants to come on
Oh, Marcus
first.
says Jalen has 3 years left. Um, Hey, well, I'll tell you what. If we can get
Mm.
Marcus in here, that would be nice. But it also might be a train wreck at the same time. But hey, I'm willing to try it. Um,
Well,
but as I was saying, I think that he he wasn't playing well last year, and Nick and I were having this debate on really whose fault was it. Um, he said he'd love to, but he's driving and listening right now, so he'll have to catch us some other time. But Nick was very much on
okay.
the side of it's coaching. He's saying there's no way that he just woke up one day and he's no good. Um, and I was like, yeah, I get your point, but at the same time, like I expected to see progress throughout the season, and I personally thought he regressed throughout the season. And I was showing all these clips about how everybody on the defense, motion goes one way, everybody on the defense is shifting one way, and he's shifting the opposite way. And and run goes right, 10 people are running after the ball, and somehow Jalen's going the other way. And I was saying, at some point, you just that's I think it's coaching to a point, but at some point, like you just got to be an athlete. You got to at least know where the ball is and figure out where you're going. And it seemed as if this year, as we were reading in the article, he went from having 104 snaps to last game having 28. He was relegated to a backup, especially with Keanu Neal coming in, and I guess Vander Esch has stepped up a bit in the eyes of Dan Quinn and Jabril Cox, and they got all these linebackers, Michael Parsons, and I guess they had seen enough for how much they were paying him to be a backup. I don't know.
Well, I think you hit it on the head with the last one of the last few names that you made. I think this has a little bit to do with the Michael Parsons effect. He's been super versatile, playing all over the field, whether standing up over guard, rushing the center, moving back to a backer, in the literal sense. And I think that it began to show even more, maybe some of the deficiencies that Jalen had. Now, how do you get to the conclusion to say that this is the right time to do it now? I
Yeah.
don't know that part, but maybe, I'm thinking like a player. I have no facts, no nothing about this. This is just George Teague talking as a player at this point and not an analyst or something. But I can see at some point when you're high paid like that, maybe you're looking for something and you start talking about playing time needs, you get a little bit jealous about the younger cat, the new cat, or whatever, and you're trying to find your way in there, your spot, your role, and sometimes you don't accept your role, right? Which may be for him to be a backup, and maybe there could not be an agreement um, there. And again, like I said, there's nothing to that. I just think about my personal experiences when I was with Jimmy down in Miami. Now, it happened at the end of the year, but there was things that happened during the year that I didn't agree with, and I was pretty vocal about, and he probably could have cut me then. You know, chose not to for whatever reason. Um, so I'm more on that side that there probably was some discussion to say we're playing this well right now. We don't need any distractions. So we need to go ahead and mend ways
Yeah, I
right
mean
now so we can
that's
get on this Super Bowl run.
that's it's interesting because like Don Fagan is saying, he's still owed $7.2 million this year. So yeah, they still got to pay him that. And there's like a little north of $9 million cap hit that they still have to take. And you know how much the Cowboys hate to trade with the Eagles. And the fact that they actually tried to trade him to Philadelphia, I don't know. That seems weird to me. Like, it's week 5. Like week 5, and you're trying to trade somebody that you just paid a ton of money to, and he's supposed to be your star linebacker. And I mean, I just feel like for it must be something to the effect of what you were saying, because for $7 million, like, I feel like you can keep him on for 12 more weeks just in case somebody gets hurt. You still got people that's getting on the COVID list. Like, you never know who's going to be able to play at any given moment, and to let him go for nothing at all. You had a trade that fell apart, and you're just like, well, we couldn't trade him, so kick rocks. I mean, I guess there must have been something.
It's hard for me to believe that, JT, that we couldn't even have any type of trade. I mean,
It's the contract.
You don't have to give up a first round. Yeah,
Yeah, but even
and
Bill
I know we
Belichick
talk
be
about
giving
that.
people away for a cheeseburger and a bag of chips and like a 7th rounder.
Yeah, I'm saying if we can't get a 5th round pick out of him, or a 6th round or a 7th round pick, and the other teams that have to worry about how to negotiate that, right? But I don't know, man. I've heard from, I saw Clarence Hill's message, and he stated that he was in good spirits, that Jalen Smith was in good spirits, and looking forward to the opportunity to go somewhere. And so I know we'll be tracking it and watching it and seeing. That's wrong. Got an Amber Alert. That's why we're talking about.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. The vibration was coming through the microphone, and I'm sitting here like, what is that?
Yeah. Sorry, that's them good mics we got, man. They picking up everything around here. So I don't know. I guess I wish him the best, and hopefully he gets another opportunity. Because what year is this for him? How many years has he actually been in the league? If he had 3 more left on the contract, I guess.
Let me look, because I think he signed an extension, but we'll just pull up Pro Football Reference real quick.
Can't be more.
His first season was 2017. So 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. That's 4 years. This is his 5th year.
Yeah. So that's. I don't know, man. There had to be something there. I mean, to make that move. And Jerry don't normally make moves like this. He don't really do things like this. But when he's got rolling, which I guess we can segue into what happened with the Cowboys and the Panthers. I guess the best part is that we were both there to actually be able to see it live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You sold on these boys, JT? Are they for real? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, the offense looks good. The defense looks good. I'm a little upset that we gave up 2 rushing touchdowns to Sam Darnold. Of all people on the team, Sam Darnold. But I'll give him a pass for one of them, because who would have thought they were going to run a speed option with Sam Darnold? Like that.
Yeah.
That was wild. So I wasn't even mad at that. I was like, okay, that's a good play call, I guess. You can have that one. But I think this is a very good football team. I'm still worried a bit about some of these higher powered offenses, in the sense of, like, we were talking about Diggs' first interception, the one where they were in zone and he basically threw that one right at Diggs, and then he had somebody deep that had already run past the safety, which I I'm in the stands and, sitting next to Emily. And I'm like, oh, he's got somebody wide open. And then as I'm saying that, he's throwing an interception to Diggs. And I was like, well, he didn't see him. So that's, whatever. Um, but again, that second
Got pretty
interception.
good seats. You can see well from up there the seats that you're in. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit
Oh,
different angle when you're down there on the field
oh
level.
no, those are the. I mean, you're right behind the broadcast cameras, so they're good seats. But the
Mhm.
second interception that Diggs had was incredible. Like, I mean, um, it looked like the interception that he had last week. It He ran the route for him, and I went back and watched the interception from last week, and you can tell he's playing with a lot more confidence. It's when he jumped the out route and when he jumped this one, it's like pre-snap. He knew what the route was, and he was just like, "I'm sitting on it.
Let's go.
I know what it is." And as soon as that front hand comes off the ball, I'm driving, and it's gonna hit me in the face. And I mean, I don't want to call it gambling because he's been right twice and right on point, but
Mhm.
he's taken the risk, I guess, and it's paid off for him in big ways both times.
So yeah, and we probably should spend a little bit more time talking about him, especially since we both played defensive back and all that stuff too. But when we were talking about this last week, about the win and did it matter a potential win at that time, and was it going to matter if McCaffrey um, wasn't there? Um, I don't know that the McCaffrey effect would have really taken place or not the way they were in it. I don't know. I felt like we had a really good showing. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like after I was able to get seated and be where I needed to be, watching the way the defense was flying around, the energy was high, at least up until the last part of the game. Yeah,
Yeah, which actually changed my
I
mind
just
about
thought that.
something. I think
What
that
What do you mean? The
well, after Diggs got his second pick and they were up by 20 or whatever it was, and then they ended up bringing it into within 8. And then I kind of changed my mind on maybe Micah Parsons isn't the most valuable person on defense yet. It it might actually be Trayvon Diggs
might be
because
Trayvon.
he was the only one that got to take the rest of the night off due to player management, and they promptly put up 12 points pretty quickly
What the
after he came
heck
off
does
the field.
that mean anyway? Players management. What the heck does player management mean? They got the little trackers on you and they see that you ran 20 miles already. Um, you exerted amount of energy. Is that what we're talking about here? Those special type of sports science type stuff that, hey, we need
Probably,
to,
probably I don't know
workload
because
is getting too much.
didn't he have like a hamstring problem in the preseason or something, and then why he didn't play? He had some kind of muscular thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of. I mean, obviously it shows. So I felt like that once he went in, was he the, as you're alluding to? I think once he went out, things kind of started to change. You know, DJ Moore started getting a little bit more loose. you know,
Hmm.
um, and
Anthony
obviously they were
Brown
scoring
dropped an
those
interception
those.
and then almost gave up a touchdown right after.
Yeah, so
Man, and I
it
was
gets
really about to. I was sitting in the stands, really about to say, all right, on Tuesday I'm gonna have to get a man his props because he looked pretty good, and then that happened, and I was like, oh, okay, he looked good for
Brown. Or you talking about Diggs?
Brown.
You had to get Brown.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
yeah.
I was thinking
Well,
today I was gonna come in and give Brown a huge apology and be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean all the things that I said, and then I was like, okay, I meant most of the things
he
I
still
said.
made some good
He
plays.
did.
He
He
still
did.
made some good plays.
He did.
You know, those are those guys that hadn't quite got there yet, and I don't know. It was really good to see, and I was really really excited about the second interception that Diggs had. I didn't talk about that, but I was up actually sitting next to Darren Woodson, um, with Consuelo and Woody's wife and his kid. And man, when he made that pick, we both just kind of looked at each other like, "Good Lord!" I mean, that was a big time Pro Bowl, All Pro
Mm-hmm.
type of.
For sure.
play, and he's starting to make those. And I mean, when he's breaking records, we were talking about how do you get on that platform to be a young guy like that and get into the Pro Bowl and things of that nature. I don't unless he just falls off somewhere between now and
Well,
the rest of the year. I
the
don't see
question
how
that I
he's
had leaving the game was how long before teams just stop throwing at him? Because I was sitting in the stands and I was like, hey, that might be his last interception for the year. Not because he's not good enough, just because they're gonna be like, all right, we're done throwing over there. We're just gonna have to deal with something else.
Yep, that happens, and that can be frustrating, I guess. But it just means he has to take care of the opportunity when he does have the one matchup because he's going to be on, some of the best receivers. Now, this week I don't even know who the receivers are for the Giants. Seem like they're all hurt. Sterling or with Shepard, what's his name? I don't know if he's back. Slayton's hurt. Kenny Galladay ain't been doing anything. Ingram. I mean,
Ingram's always hurt. I just had to drop him because I can't. He ain't ever. It don't seem like he's every right.
Such a talent too. Well,
but say hi.
All
to
right.
Your,
well, I think our guys
is Monica your cousin. Monica Galat is in the chat.
Consuela. Hello. We're glad to see you. And she is in North Carolina. She did back to Consuela until when we asked last week, where she was. So she's still out there. And you know what? She really gave some really good feedback, and I'm going to talk about this now. She I don't know. We might have to invite her into fantasy football now because she said, hey, she basically wants to be a street team member.
Oh, okay.
For us. We got to start. Maybe we can start doing something with that. Maybe we got to have more people than just call them street team. Something. We need a catchy little term. But anyway, she was like, we were talking about. I think we might have been talking about Michael Parsons last week. And now this will be hard for us to do. I know we're way off topic with all this kind of stuff, but I'm saying this so you listeners can be able to give us feedback about what you would like to see, and if we could try to accommodate you guys with that. But she was saying, hey, you guys were talking about a play that you're saying a player was making, but she hadn't seen it and didn't know what it was, and she really wanted to know what it was. So she's like, do you think that you guys can put the play up there so that I know what the heck you're talking about when you're going into that. Yeah. See. So, Monica, if you're looking at the screen, you can see we do have the capabilities of doing it. Now, the one thing that we don't do is necessarily script what plays we're actually going to talk about all the time. But I think if we know beforehand, we can pull it up and find it as long as the all 22 is up and ready, and JT
can you still
get
see this?
into it. So, yes, we can. Me and you are at the bottom right, and Jalen Hurts just threw the pass to Diggs, and he picked it off.
Well, all right. Well, we'll have to keep that in mind. I was trying to see.
Just shock yourself again.
Yeah, that was actually kind of easier than I thought it was going to be. I was trying to find Carolina's game film isn't up yet. I
so that is one kind of hold up that we have because on Tuesday nights, the 48-hour window may not really have been hit by all 22. So to get to the game film could be an issue from time to time. So we'll discuss that and figure that out. Maybe we got to be a week late. I don't know. But anyway, I thought that was
pull
pretty
them up good. And have them queued up for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was really good feedback too.
Was it? Yeah, it was. So there you go. Thank you for that, Monica. Thank you, Craig, and all of you guys that are listening here. Marcus, I really do appreciate you for driving around listening to us, man. You're a trooper, man. You street team member, and we appreciate everything that you do for us. And y'all make sure y'all check him out on Cowboys Zone. Um, him and I guess I can call him Brandon. They do a really, really good show. Um, they love the Cowboys, talk about the Cowboys, and they're probably more like JT than me. I guess I call myself a little bit more color commentary, where JT is probably a little bit more fact based or
Yeah. So
data
Marcus,
based.
I'm still waiting on my invite to the show.
Yes,
Well,
yes. So
Craig wants to get into
do
Bama
that.
football, and I think we should. We're 30 minutes in, and
All right, I'm good with that.
Alabama
Bama.
backhanded Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin.
So let's go ahead and talk about the thing that everybody wants to know about first, right? Right before the kickoff, Lane
Yeah,
Kiffin,
what was that? I was so
Mike
confused.
drops the headsets, telling everybody to get the popcorn ready. Why do you do that? You're the head coach. What, I mean, was he just that confident? Like, man, my game plan is going to be right, and oh man, I don't know where that comes from.
I I don't even know what he was talking about. I'm watching it and I'm like, what? I'm thinking, I was like, what is he about to come out here and like kick an onside kick to start the game? And then and then I was like, well, maybe he was talking about going for it on fourth down, since they went for it twice on fourth down and they got it. And then the third one, we finally stopped him. But I was like, where was there some kind of trickery that was supposed to be going on? I didn't understand it. I was thoroughly confused the entire game, trying to figure out what he was talking about, what the big surprise was.
Dude, the announcers didn't know what he was talking about. Everybody, the poor lady that was there interviewing was just looking like, oh my gosh, and it just he really set himself up, because now I want to know. And so, JT, what do you feel like as a coach or as a person when you do something like this? So they were having a good drive, right? And I think he felt good about that going down, and then it just went downhill, kind of quick for him. But what what is going through his head when it's starting to get drove? Knowing that you just, I don't even know if you call poke the bear or what that actually happened, at the beginning with him. But then now you're standing on the sideline and you've totally lost control of the game. What are you thinking as a coach at this point now? You just
Well, me as a coach, I'd be like, me personally, I would be embarrassed. I wouldn't have done it in the first place, just for the simple fact that that has the potential to happen. Um, I don't think there's much embarrassment that Lane Kiffin has for that, and I'm not even going to go so far to say that he has no shame. I just, if you don't follow Lane Kiffin on Twitter, he's actually a pretty good follow. He is very self-aware. He knows that people make memes about him. He knows how to take jokes, and he knows how to give jokes too. I mean, he's made jokes about, because him and Kirby Smart are very good friends, and he knows that Nick Saban has beaten them both and have never lost to an assistant, and he's retweeted memes about him and Kirby Smart calling Nick Saban dad because he keeps beating up on him every time. So, he's got the antics, but you can tell a lot of the times that it's actually just in good fun. That's what he likes to do, and I think that's part of his recruiting thing. He's the fun guy that doesn't take himself too seriously now. And I think that's actually kind of a product of him working under Coach Saban for a while and kind of realizing what it takes and that kind of thing, because he's definitely matured much more than when he was at Oakland or USC or even Tennessee. So,
if you say so, I guess. But anyway, I just thought it was crazy, and then to see him have it and all the memes coming out. But I think the guys look good. I did see some improvement. I thought even where I thought we had some weaknesses on defense that I think we felt I felt better about after that. I also felt better about the run game. I wasn't really totally sold. I know
I'm still not.
McClellan.
Jace McKellen.
What about the run game? You're still not sold on the run game or whatnot?
I am not.
Well, and I guess I'll go halfway there just because of the type of defense
Mm-hmm.
that Ole Miss was trying to run. 5 in the box. Come on, man. Even 6 when we got a tight end surface, so we still got enough people to block you. It just seems like it was just daring them to run the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and you weren't going to throw it. So I don't know the statistical line of what Bryce Young had for total passing yards, and he still missed on a couple big ones.
Yeah, I think he threw his
But
first real interception.
Yeah. So I did feel better about it overall. It just seemed like we were getting a little bit more pressure. Well, obviously, right? We were getting more pressure on the quarterback, causing some hurries and different things and sacks. So it was really good to see. I felt pretty good about it. I felt better. I was nervous going into the game. I'm speaking honestly. I was just like, man,
I was too.
I'm not sure how this is going to turn out.
That was the one game on the schedule, and I was like, all right, if there's a chance in the regular season that we get beat, it's going to be Ole Miss. And we got a question from Craig Young on Lane Kiffin. He says he believes the AD should fire him for embarrassing Florida Nation. What would you do as the AD?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a fireable offense. I do think that I would be having a conversation with them. I definitely would have a conversation with them afterwards about, I'm going to say, conduct detrimental to the university. I think those are kind of things that, people look and now you're being ridiculed because of your actions. It's still about those players and those kids, right? I'm saying kids because I'm still older than them, a lot older than them. Because when you as an adult do that on national television, these kids look up to the players, the coaches, and when you set this out there, people tend to think it's okay, and that was not okay by the whole head coach. That's what you do in the locker room, right? I could see him doing something to rile up the team a little bit. Hey, let's make sure they're going to get their popcorn ready, blah, blah. Whatever your motivational speech is, but on the tube, and now everybody, I mean, how many times is that thing going to be shown? You think over the next 10 years or the next time we have to play them next year? Good Lord. So, no, Craig, I wouldn't fire him, but we'd have a good discussion about that, right? Because I'm a stickler on little things like that. How do you wear your hats? What do you do with your clothes, your shirts? And then how do you conduct yourself on an interview? So that ain't it. So anyway, all in all, I think it was an impressive win. The end, I think we gave up some sloppy points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was, right? Kind of felt like how the Cowboys were kind of going for a minute there. You're giving up more points than you needed to, but I don't know. I guess it's acceptable, when you're kind of beating somebody down like that, and maybe our standards are too high, but I was okay.
Well, Coach Saban didn't think it was acceptable.
Yes.
He was
He's
not
talking
happy
about
the
finishing the
fourth quarter.
game, right?
Yeah.
We got to finish the game. And he did have some starters in there. But, I don't know. So this week, A&M, before, I think it was going to be a pretty good matchup. I'm not sure anymore now.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Going down. Now, it is in Texas A&M. So, I mean, you can never.
But you know what it takes to beat Alabama. You have to have a quarterback. they don't have a quarterback. I mean, Stetson Bennett is miles better than this guy right now. He's not he's not experienced enough. He hasn't been able to really push the ball downfield. I mean, they didn't. Colorado is easily the worst team in the Pac-12, and they barely got 10 points out of that game.
No, yeah, and I think we could see some of the same because Spiller, I believe that's their running back's name at A&M. If that's their main,
he's the only guy that got on offense,
weapon,
I think.
You know, and they got the one, I'm forgetting the wide receiver's name. He hadn't been, I think he's been hurt or hadn't been very productive. They got him listed as a wide receiver / running back / something. But he hadn't really been getting the ball here lately, so I think they're going to be kind of one-dimensional. And if we're stopped them from running the ball, it's going to be a long day for A&M, you know. So I'm picking that one. I don't know what the line is. I'm assuming it's by a couple touchdowns again, or maybe not.
Well, let me find it. You know, I'm interested. So we got Alabama
assumption
versus A&M odds, and excuse me, Sportsbook Wire. That looks good enough.
So while he's looking that up, I will tell you this is another piece that. So people said I got asked a question. Well, you're going to go down to the game. This weekend, and this gonna make some people really like question, like, what are you doing, George? Well, you know what? Me and Consuelo are actually gonna go to the Red River Shootout, I think it's called. What's the one, the old rivalry between Texas and OU?
I can't remember if they changed it to shootout or rivalry. It's either Red River Rivalry or Red River Shootout.
Oh, we can't use shootout anymore.
I can't remember. They changed it from one to the other a while ago. But yeah, Clara was already asking about this. You know, who you got between Texas and OU?
Well, so Bijan, that his name, the running back from Texas, he's pretty doggone good now. That's it, Robinson. He's pretty good. I think he'll get loose. He's going to do that. Hadn't watched enough Oklahoma yet to really know who they are. Both of these teams are
underperforming.
Sound bad? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Because I was going to go with average or something. So, okay. So here's my answer. The guy that got me tickets is an OU fan. So I'm going to have to root for OU. Which way is she going? Is she an OU person? I know she's a football fan, but is she an OU person? But anyway, okay. So what's the line for the Bama game?
The line for the Bama game is Alabama minus 17.5.
17.5.
Yeah. 17.5.
Take it. You gonna take it?
You taking the points? I'm taking the points. I
mean, you don't think they'll win. I'm saying they're going to cover it.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant to say I'm giving the points. I'll give the points to – I'm actually kind of borderline like Alabama minus anything at this point. A&M's offense is not good. They're not good enough.
Yes. Okay, so who's our number one wide receiver? Not literally, but is – Jameson the guy, or is Mechie the guy? Who's the guy. Becoming a?
Jameson's the big play guy. They're trying to get him the ball
more than Mechie.
I think so.
I guess we have to look at targets here pretty soon for that. I know they're trying to hit him over the top, but actual targets, I'm kind of wondering. Been using tight end pretty good too here, you know. And Bolden. Is it Bolden? Bolden.
Slade Bolden?
Yes.
Who actually hadn't seen the field very much recently. So I wonder what that's all about. Well, I mean, I guess they're going like two tight ends really, since Jaleel Billingsley is technically a tight end, but he's not really a tight end.
He's good, man. That dude's good, man. He was really good. I was like, oh gosh. Uh, so I think we're in a good position here. So all right, so we know. Can we? Are we going to agree that we still believe Alabama and Georgia are 1 and 2,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think it's close at all.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't see how they're not in this thing at the end of the year. But who's really the number 3 team?
Clara, if you
Yeah.
really think that Bama gets upset in College Station, you have not watched an A&M game at all this year.
Look at you drink Kool-Aid. That bad Kool-Aid. I don't know where she is right now, but she said that. She tripping. She she's a fire starter. What do you call the people that instigate all the time?
The instigators.
Yeah. He's an instigator. Uh, okay. So yeah, who's
Who's three?
number 3?
I don't know. I mean, the I agree with the rankings as far as like resume to date. I would have to say Penn State is 3, and Iowa. I think Iowa's deserving of 4.
Deserving, not necessarily.
Yeah,
So hold on a second. Hold on. Because you got anything to say to Claire about Oregon
Oh,
losing?
yes, I
Didn't
do.
she
Because I
predict?
did say yes, because she said they were going to run the table. And I told you very quickly that they were not going to. I did not expect it to be to Stanford. But I just, that wasn't a good showing from Oregon. Um, and the leader in the Pac-12 right now is the Oregon State Beavers, which I'm sure most people even forgot was a school and a football team.
Are they number 1 for real?
Yeah, after Oregon lost, Oregon State took took the top spot in the Pac-12 North at least.
Oh wow, wow. Well, okay. So we'll go back to it. So Penn State, I think they look pretty good. The Dotson kid looks really, really
Mm-hmm.
good. The wide receiver that they have, I think he's pretty legit. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's going to be fun to watch them. I think that they got a really, really good chance of hanging in there throughout the year. I haven't seen enough of Iowa. Is it Iowa or Iowa State?
Iowa.
For Iowa to have an opinion. I haven't watched any of their games um, at all.
Their
So
defense is carrying them,
I,
and which is great. But Iowa's creativity on offense has never really been there. Glenn is an Iowa fan, and he has basically told me that Iowa doesn't know how to throw deep passes either. And he was very shocked. I think they threw like a 40-yard touchdown pass once. And he was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know we could do that. So I'm not sure. But they had 6 interceptions against Maryland. So
well, saying that though, does Cincinnati gonna leapfrog and get in that top 4 by the end of the year?
yeah,
They
this
got
weekend.
a couple. Hmm?
They'll
No,
leapfrog this weekend. Because they're going to win, and
Okay.
either Penn State or Iowa is going to lose. They play each other, which
Well,
is
maybe not. If the game is close, or you think they're just going to take the loss and you lost, you got to go down, regardless of how competitive the game is. If it's a
yeah. I
competitive
think the
game,
only way that somebody doesn't move is if like it's super controversial, and it could have went either way, and bad call, 5th down kind of deal, which is probably not going to happen. So whoever loses is going to 5. That's just the way it is.
no man, 3 and 4, playing against each other. But
And
since
game
he
day didn't pick them. They're gonna go
didn't pick
to
who,
game day is not gonna go to
oh,
the Penn State Iowa game. They're gonna go to OU Texas instead, which is mind blowing to me.
really?
Yep.
Dang it! I mean, I might have to
Everybody's
get
upset
down there
about
like
that.
really, really early. We're going to get down there really, really early because it's already a mess down there trying to park. Um, so since he looked, I don't know if they shook up the world or not by beating Notre Dame. I picked them to win.
I think most people did.
Um, well, Notre Dame hadn't looked all that great, particularly on offense. They got the tight end. He's pretty good, but they don't seem like they can run as well. They just don't seem very fast to me, comparatively speaking. And when your quarterback throws a pick six or whatever happened there early, um, get you behind. And since his quarterback is decent, so I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm starting to root for them. One, just so I can see them actually get into the playoffs and get smacked down real quick in the first round.
Well,
Uh,
Claire is upset. She's saying Notre Dame had an off day. I think Notre Dame's had an off season. I mean, they struggled against Florida State, who's awful. Toledo's not very good. Who else did they play? Wisconsin, who is still 1-4, 1-3. They still only won one game, and that game was close for a while.
Don't let her get under your skin, man. I told you, it doesn't matter what you say. She's just gonna try to be different. I'm trying to think of something other than the Cowboys, maybe that she agrees on most of the time. But it's college sports. She's against the grain. When it comes to Teague Tech, anyway. So, all right. Couple more things I think we can hit before our time's up here in another 5, 6, 7 minutes. Well, we talked about Lane Kiffin and his antics, and you guys asked me about what I thought about other kind of stuff. And I hadn't seen the video. I didn't see the TMZ stuff, but Urban Meyer apparently got his groove on a little bit. Post game or what?
Yeah.
I don't know
So
what it was.
what happened was they went up to Cincinnati and got beat. They're 0-4. He decides that he is not going to go back with the team because he was going to stay in Ohio and visit with his wife and grandkids. So he told the organization, and then the video comes out of him at the bar with some chick, and very unsavory. And since then, since his apology, apparently the players have he's lost the team, according to reports. According to reports that he gave his speech apologizing to the team, and as soon as he left the room, all the players started laughing and giggling about his whole apology and whatnot. And the owner said that his behavior was inexcusable, and you know how I feel about Urban Meyer anyway. So
Yeah. Do you need to remind everybody? But man, I mean, it's unfortunate, and I know we don't need to harp on it that much. It's just, again, it's what we do as coaches and where we're at and what we're saying when you're in a high profile position like he was or is.
he might not make it through the season.
Judgment. You think? Well, because of this or because of just coaching and losing?
Both. I think it's. I think that the Jags
Freddie
owner,
Kitchens made it a whole year. Sorry?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but Freddie Kitchens wasn't hiring coaches that had to resign before they even stepped into the facility, and then leaving their 0-4 team to go to the bar to feel up some college chicks and then come back and lie to everybody about it, and then have to have a call with the owner, and then the owner has to put out a statement saying we don't condone him and he has to earn his trust back from the organization. That's not what you want to hear. Most organizations that at least lie and be like, oh, we have full confidence in our coach or whatever, and then fire you in 2 weeks. I think they've already skipped that part.
And they're on the search already. They're looking around now. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, no. So that automatically puts him on the hot seat. That's sound like what I'm hearing from everybody. When
Yep.
did they start putting out hot seat stuff anyway? About halfway through the year, I
I'm
guess. When
sure
we start
somebody
seeing who
has
these,
somebody has NFL
you
hot
know,
seat
'cause,
rankings.
well, after 4 games, I don't know. It could be getting there. So it just seems a little bit early, just personally for me to start worrying about where these players going to end up. Okay. Um, while you're looking at that last topic, I think we need to talk about, and again, that is because it has a little bit of Alabama tied to it as well. Pats and the Bucks, man. Brady goes back and faces his guru with Belichick. That was a good game. I actually missed the tail end of it. Actually ended up falling asleep.
Well,
Was
I
at
had to, I had to
halftime.
catch the highlights, the 14-minute, 15-minute highlight afterwards because I didn't even watch it live. I decided I was going to bed anyway.
Yes, but so my angle I want to come from is what did that game do for Mac Jones to be able to compete with the Buccaneers and play? Yeah, they came up on the short end of the stick, but did that elevate him a little bit just because, or is it still just on Belichick? Does Mac made some really good plays?
Yeah, no, he looked
I think he
good.
controlled the.
From what from the condensed version of the game that I saw, he looked really good. His offensive line was just allowing entirely too much pressure most of the game.
No, yes, he was dipping and dodging, right? So he showed us how mobile he is, at least from being able to escape. But he stood in there and he was taking some shots, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting hit underneath the chin, man, a few times. I was just like, man, is this dude gonna make it? But he just kept going and kept going and kept going. So I thought it was a really good day for him. I think it solidified him and makes people feel better. Not that he has to worry about that, but about how he got picked and where he went. And I think playing on that kind of stage, especially with him, his youth, against Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
Monday night
Um,
versus the guy that you're brought here to replace, who's fresh off a Super Bowl.
yes. So I thought it was a tremendous showing. I thought the Patriots did a great job of defending, the Bucks. But that's Belichick, right? Figuring it out, really, really working on it and keeping them down. I really thought they had a chance until the Pats. I'm sorry, yeah, the Pats had a chance until they didn't get that last touchdown. When they had to settle for that field goal, I was like, that's not good. Um, but anyway, I'm happy for Mac in that as well. So
Yeah, the game might have been a
shout
little
out to
bit different
everybody,
if
man. For
the game might have been a little bit different if they could have got a run game actually going. I think didn't Mac have to throw? Didn't they throw like close to 50 times?
they, they don't have no run game no more, man. Dylan,
Well, that
what's his
offensive
name?
line doesn't look like it's good enough.
Harris, Damian Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. Um, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not going to dissect the Pats like that, but they do need to try to help. Jacoby Myers has really been good for Mac. Um, so I think that's just going to be a continued building process. He got the ball to Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. So I think they still may be a team to be reckoned with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at
Yeah.
least in that
Mac went
division.
31 for 40, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And
That's
they ran the
that's
ball.
impressive.
They ran the ball 8 times.
8.
And one of them was Mac
See?
Jones, which means that was probably him scrambling around and got sacked. So they really ran the ball 7 times. Nelson Aguilar was their leading rusher, 1 attempt, 4 yards. Damian Harris had 4 attempts for -4 yards. And the other 2 had 1 attempt for 0 yards. So that's not good.
And for those of us who have those of us who have Damian Harris on our fantasy football teams, because I do have him in a couple, wasn't a good day. I had the worst fantasy football weekend ever, I must say. Out of my 9 leagues, I think I might have won 2 games this week because everybody I had got hurt, didn't show up. Logan Thomas got me 0. DJ Chark got hurt. I mean, it was just an awful, awful weekend for me. So I was a little bit depressed about that, but the best thing was I was able to watch Alabama win the game on Saturday, and I was at the Cowboys game on Sunday, so I didn't have to sit there and watch my phone and see what's happening in fantasy. It just happened when I looked for updates. I was like, oh, my gosh, this is terrible. So there we have it, man. We're going to stay on top of what's going on with Jalen, see where he lands. I think we got a lot of stuff. We covered a lot of topics tonight, JT.
We did.
Great job, brother. Put it all in, and and we got it there. Thank you guys for everybody who's contributes by chatting and all this stuff. We love it. Thank you guys very much. Keep that up. Don't forget that you can find us, throughout the week via social media. Teague's Take. If you're looking at the screen, you see it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Personally, you can find me at Teague Football on Twitter and Instagram. JT can be found at BamaJ13 only on Twitter, somewhere on Twitch, and somewhere on.
Yeah, if you see BamaJ13 somewhere, that's probably me. I forgot to mention, because of the chaos that is going on in college football this year about just not knowing who outside of the top 2. I'm going to run my simulated rankings again. I was going to wait until week 8, but I'm actually kind of curious to see what my program says. So I think next Tuesday I'll show if I can get it up and running. I'm gonna show the generated rankings, the computer rankings that I have that I did last year or 2 years ago, instead of waiting until week 8.
I like that. Let's bring that back. That'll be good, and we'll come back and cover all the stuff that we need to cover between the Dallas Cowboys and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Thank you guys for all the stuff you really do. I'm getting a lot of interaction on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, and I love it, man. I really do. Instagram, all of it. So y'all jump in there, man, with me personally with that too, and we'll keep this thing rocking and rolling. So we always love Tuesday nights to be able to talk to you, face to face like this, where you can see us and we can see your chats. This is a highlight for both of us. So share the word, tell your buddies, tell your friends, tell your companies and all that kind of stuff about Teague's Take. Have them download it, but have them come catch the live show on Tuesday nights. We're always here, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know JT doesn't like for me to say Standard. Central Time or daylight.
Yeah, nobody ever gets it right. So just Central Time, everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, so Central Time, you can find us here. We'll give you all that we know. We'll give you our opinions. We'll give you the facts. But we're also loaded up with a little bit of fun. So until next week, I want to say happy week to everybody. We do appreciate it, and have a great Roll Tide time. We out.